have to say, Mr. Fussy's design is something that I find to be really quite boring. A lot of Mr. Men characters have really fun, brightly coloured, interesting designs, and he doesn't stand out very much. But the narrative itself is interesting enough. It doesn't really have a strong message in it. The moral isn't really there. There's nothing really that children can learn to any great extent. It's just one that has quite an interesting narrative, so it's definitely not a personal favourite. But we learn that Mr. Fussy is a fusspot, which is not a very nice name, but nevertheless, people do call him Fussy Old Fusspot because he's very particular. He likes all of his blades of grass to be standing upright. Everything has to be neat and tidy and in order. And then Mr. Clumsy comes along, and it didn't occur to me till I was reading this that they're basically the same character in terms of their appearance, except Mr. Fussy is slightly leaner, and Mr. Clumsy is a bit of a mess. And it just never occurred to me until the book actually put them side by side. Mr. Clumsy obviously comes into Mr. Fussy's home and creates a mess. I love that. I love the contrast there. I think it's illustrated beautifully. They are cousins, and it says there that Mr. Clumsy comes from Australia. I'm not sure if he is Australian when we get to read the book. I will have to remember and pay attention to that and see if that is the case. But he makes an absolute mess and causes all kinds. I love that. It's almost identical, except he's smiling because he's leaving. I think that's brilliant. And things are going back to normal the way Mr. Fussy likes it. And Mr. Bump comes for a visit. So there's no real message. There's nothing that says it's wrong to be fussy, and there's nothing that says it's wrong to be clumsy as such. Maybe you can say, well, if you're clumsy and you're visiting somebody who likes things neatly, done neatly and well organised, you might be actually a bad visitor for them, but I don't think that's blatantly obvious and not something young children will easily pick up on. But the story is still quite interesting. I like the personality of Mr. Fussy, but as I said, I don't really care too much for the design of him. It's definitely not a personal favourite. The narrative is not that interesting either. I feel like it's a bit of a weak link compared to some of the other ones around about him. But of course, it's by no means a bad book.